Hello, everybody. Welcome to Transcend with NNG podcast. I am your host, Brittany Walker, also known as New Nation Goddess. Today, we are entering into episode 6, where we will be talking about the fifth frequency of elevation, knowledge acquisition. Up to this point, I'm pretty sure you have caught up from episodes 1 through 5 to have a thorough understanding of what the 8 frequencies of elevations is and which elevations we've already covered. Which frequencies we've already covered. So in today's episode, we're going to be learning how to acquire knowledge in order to thoroughly fulfill our purpose, acquire wealth, and achieve optimal wellness. One thing out of all 4 degrees that I have acquired over the years, there was still a lot of knowledge that I did not have in order to really acquire wealth. I learned a little bit about credit scores, but not enough information. Most of that knowledge that I had prior was from my parents and my grandparents, but anything else I had to learn on my own. I was one of those students who got to college and went up to the vendor that offered the free t-shirt and, hey, you can get a credit card for $250, $500, and then you max it out. And then that's that. Now you have something on your credit report. You've maxed out that little bit of potential credit that you had, and now you're in debt. Didn't learn how to properly manage everything in college. Did not learn how to stay above 700, how to stay above 800. Did not learn about the various ways of passive income, even with having a business degree. Yeah, you learned about business accounting. You learned about the business structures, the different entity, taxes, government guidelines, policies, things of that sort, economic structure, but you did not learn about sustainable development goals. You did not learn about how to really circulate the dollars. What is a private nonprofit foundation? What is a trust? What is a holding company? What does it mean to have passive income? What is residual income? Do I have to obtain these degrees and put myself in debt? And then I am working all these hours, a minimum of 40, but typically when you go into salary, you can work 50, 60, even 70 hours a week, but you're still only paid for that 40 hours per week. And I'm working endlessly at these skills and these certifications that I got in college, but I'm still not truly free. I'm not financially free. I still have to ask to go to the restroom and when I can go take a break. So again, knowledge about how to really acquire wealth, how to truly be free, even optimal wellness. We learn about health. We learn about, you see things on TV about eating lean forms of red meat, but you can also do research that the carcinogens in red meat lead to cancer and strokes and heart disease and high cholesterol. So why would we be promoted to eat something that is going to eventually hinder our bodies and then result in the highest death amongst melanin people? Okay, guys, so today's episode, we're just going to be talking about different ways that you can acquire knowledge and learning how to think outside the box and not pay attention to everything that's just put right in front of your face. So, of course, we like to start off with an I am power statement. I am representing inspiration, affirmations, and manifestations. So today's is I am accepting the knowledge, gifts, and skills that I have acquired and will use them to serve. Ashe. Okay, so there it is. We also like to follow through with a resource to accompany our episodes. So today's resource is going to be The Richest Man in Babylon, written by George S. Clason. This is one of my favorite quick reads. I think it's barely even 100 pages. Yeah, 91 pages to be exact if you read it all the way to the end. It was referred to me by DJ Moultrie, Derek Moultrie. Shout out to the Black Equity Network and Acquisitions Network, or How to Acquire Podcasts as well. I learned so much from this book. It's not about how to be rich, because nowadays everything's being promoted by what type of car you have. How much did you pay for your house? How much is that shirt that you have on? How much are those tennis shoes that you have? How many shoes do you have in your house? How many purses do you own? Are they Chanel? Are they Birkin? Are they Gucci? Are they Fendi? taking these lavish trips and yacht trips and all of these things, but not really showing how do you really get wealthy. We have a few recent younger Black billionaires that have come into the mix. We have Serena Williams, we have LeBron James, we have Rihanna, we have Kanye West, we have Jay-Z. We need to be paying attention to the blueprints. One thing, again, shout out to DJ Moultrie, that he teaches in his acquisition network how to acquire podcasts, is following Black billionaires and learning their blueprint and learning how they got to where they're at this present day. Not what job that they might have just had first coming out of college, where they were working, again, that salary pay 40, 50, 60 hours per week. But what seeds did they drop in order to get that billionaire status? Okay. So The Richest Man in Babylon is going to be the resource for today. On the back of the book, it has some additional information about the low. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple rules of its acquisition. Notice the podcast I just shout out that's hosted by DJ Moultrie, How to Acquire Podcasts, the word acquisitions. I mentioned earlier how to acquire knowledge, how to acquire wealth. This is very important, guys, for us to really understand acquisitions and how to really achieve Black equity and Black wealth. So they have 7 rules of its acquisition. Start thy purse to fattening. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, control thy expenditures. It didn't say keep going to Amazon and buying purchases all the time. It didn't say keep going to Uber and DoorDash and get food deliveries instead of buying groceries and taking time to cook your food. It didn't say to each time you get paid, you need to go buy something that's really expensive that could be put towards a mortgage payment, a down payment on a house that could be used to acquire corporate leasing, to start some type of passive income through through real estate. It didn't say that, hey, use that money elsewhere where I can be investing in stocks. I can be investing in a vending machine company that's lucrative for a product or service that's really needed. Okay. Number 3, make thy gold multiply. Not keep spending it, not flashing it, but make it multiply. 4, guard thy treasures from loss. Assets, protect your assets. Put it under private nonprofit foundation. Put it under that trust, that holding company, that LLC, that S Corp. Not under your personal name, under that business credit, that OPM, that other people's money. Number 5, make up thy dwelling a profitable investment. Number 6, ensure a future income, meaning that you just don't have one secure income. To become at a millionaire or a billionaire status, you have to have multiple sources of reputable and legitimate income. Okay, guys? And number 7, increase thy ability to earn. How do you increase the ability to earn? By having options. How do you have options? By increasing your knowledge and learning different resources, putting yourself in front of the right people, connecting with the right resources. So we're going to deep dive more into that. Again, guys, that is The Richest Man in Babylon. I will put that information inside of the episode description for those of you who are not watching the video on Spotify or YouTube, so you are able to acquire that book. So, I also like to talk about tea. So for today, we're going to do a chai tea latte. Let me take my sip. Oh, that is really good. It is a chai tea latte made with extra creamy vanilla oat milk. So good. Added a little additional cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, and of course, I always throw in my ginger and turmeric. Very important spices. I love very aromatic and earthy spices. I don't know if that's just the autumn baby in me. I don't know if it's just the love of African spices and culture and history. Also Indian spices, culture and history. Shout out to both of those cultures. Love them so much. But this chai tea latte is good for cleansing. It also has cardamom included inside of it. So guys, good for inflammation, good for detoxing and removing chemicals from the body, good for mental clarity. I like to drink and sometimes even detox and clean before even reading. It just gives you a sense of being open, alert, and aware of what's going on. It's decaffeinated. I don't add any caffeine. I don't consume any caffeine for reasons that will contribute to negative health incomes that has to do with womb health, menstruation, and also leading to unwanted chemicals in the body that add inflammation in other areas. So working out a lot, inflammation in your knees, inflammation in your elbows, inflammation in your wrists. Caffeine is not the most friendly in those areas. So, guys, let's go ahead and deep dive in today's episode. Again, we're going to talk about increasing your knowledge. Don't believe everything that you see. We have to be aware that there's so much knowledge that we are unaware of because it is inside of books, it's inside of articles, research papers, resources that have been left behind through history from our ancestors. Just because it's being shown on TV, just because it's on social media, just because it's being taught in school does not mean that it is the most accurate information. To even give another example of information, I am reading currently also Forget the Alamo by Chris Tomlinson, who is talking about what really happened at the Alamo, the revolt at the Alamo back in Texas history. And it wasn't about what we all think it was about. It had everything to do with slavery, where the Mexican armies was wanting to abolish slavery in the Texas, since it was its independent land or country at that time and hadn't combined with the United States. They needed slaves to help them stay rich because they had so much land and farming opportunities that they needed assistance with the picking of the cotton and to become lucrative as they have come in centuries over centuries in present day. So it's a very interesting read. But even something like that, if you're ever went to a school in Texas, you learn about the Alamo, whether it's kindergarten through 12th grade or in college, a part of the core courses, even in Texas for college, you have to take government and history, and they will teach you about these things, but they don't mention anything that I learned in that book. So again, just learning different things. Even coming to health, I was taught that, hey, when you're sick, you go take this cough syrup, you go take that NyQuil, you put this in your system, you put that in your system, and not realizing that a lot of the chemicals that are in over-the-counter medicine contributes to Alzheimer's and dementia and cancer and other factors that hinder the body over time. We don't learn that, hey, just simply go to the grocery store and get ginger root or get turmeric root or consume cinnamon every single day, or making sure you're detoxing your body frequently, making sure you're drinking a lot of water. There's other avenues that you can go through to learn how to overcome an obstacle, overcome a task, learn a new skill, learn a new hobby. Mentioning about getting sick, maybe you have a common cold or flu, and instantly you might think, oh, I need to go get a flu vaccination because that's what you're told to do, or go get the flu shot. But realistically, there are remedies and alternative medications that you can participate in or try out, and it will do the same type of healing, if not even better, because you're getting the most holistic form of medication. So it is very important that you take time to really learn on your own. Okay, guys, you have to remember that there is something bigger than media. You have to remember that there's somebody that's bigger running the government. You have to remember that there's something bigger that is always controlling what you think is right in front of you. You have to learn to think outside the box. Sometimes you might be frowned upon, and not even sometimes, you will always be frowned upon when you're the person that thinks outside the box. You might have everybody following a bandwagon over here, but you might be that one or two person or people that step away that have another form of thinking, and that's okay. And a lot of people can't take the pressure of being outcast or shunned because they think outside the box, because they think for themselves, because they're free thinkers, because they have real freedom. Okay, so I am encouraging you today to please learn for yourself. It is extremely important to read every single day. At one point, it was illegal for us as melanin people to learn how to read, how to write, how to be educated. So it really saddens me that people frown upon reading a book, that people frown upon not wanting to educate themselves. They rather focus on the drama on TV. They rather focus on the drama that's in their phone on social media. They rather laugh and joke all day long instead of just taking 10 to 20 minutes to focus on increasing their own knowledge and bettering themselves in order to really elevate and keep going to the next frequency so that you can fulfill your purpose, so that you are able to learn and gain the knowledge that's needed in order to serve who you meant to serve, to know how to problem solve and be better at the skills that you already have, to learn new skills even. So if you're unable to read a minimum of 10 pages a day, we've talked about that in previous episodes. Reading a minimum of 10 pages a day is extremely important. But if you can't read a minimum of 10 pages of a book a day, listen to an audiobook, listen to a podcast, read an article, read a newspaper article, maybe a magazine article, maybe a case study, maybe a research paper, but make sure that it's reputable. And if it's something that you question or you want to know more, deep dive more into that subject. I always keep a pen and highlighter by. I always keep my phone by to take a note or to be able to check back in, because if I'm reading something and I don't thoroughly understand what that is, I'll finish out that chapter and then I'll go back and research what that word meant, what that statement meant. Was that a process that I didn't know about? Is that an additional document that contributed to something that I'm unaware of? I am always curious to learn more, and it's good for you to be analytical and deep dive into what's going to truly build your knowledge. Okay, guys. So another way to acquire knowledge besides reading is connecting with those individuals who are in a place that you desire to be. Some people feel like this is a bad thing to do because they feel like they're idolizing somebody or they're wanting to be like somebody else. And you can definitely like what somebody is doing and admire what they have going on, but that doesn't mean that you have to copy that person. That doesn't mean that you have to be their mini-me or their junior or do it just like how they did it. But you can definitely connect with that person and see how you may align, what information that you might have for one another, how that you can help one another. Maybe it's a potential collaboration or strategic partnership. It could even be a potential mentorship or just even a friend that you make in the future that just think on the same level or helps challenge you to keep elevating yourself to go to the next level. So it is important to surround yourself with valuable people. You will hear people complaining, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a billionaire. But you're not shifting your mindset. You're not getting around the people that are already thinking at that level and operating at that level. It is important to learn how to shift your mindset. You are unable to elevate if you do not shift your mindset. In our culture, we are conditioned to have a poor man mentality. We are conditioned to live at a lower classman level, and we have to start shifting our minds out of that mentality. Also shifting your mind out of, hey, I grew up, always hustling or poor, and I want to be rich, 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 rich. Get rich or die trying. No, 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 no. You want to have the mind frame of being wealthy. You want to have the mind frame of having options, resources, knowledge, availability, freedom. That is what you truly want and desire, or you should want and desire, and not just to be rich and just to have money in the bank and just to be able to spend and swipe as you want freely. You also want to be able to take what you have learned and make sure you're helping other people. It is not even so much of, oh, I just want to help somebody with a skin problem, so I create a balm that's going to help you take away eczema. But also taking that to another level, educating people, giving courses, giving away products, creating additional products that can contribute to that, giving away a subscription box, connecting with other individuals in the skincare industry, maybe a specialist or esthetician that can help have seminars and workshops and where you guys can continue to elevate. Think about it on that level. Then think about growing it to a conglomerate where you can have a warehouse, where you can have employees, where you can have other shareholders that can invest in your company to have more equity, more Black equity, more underestimated equity, women equity, LGBT plus equity, veteran equity, individuals with disabilities, helping each other to not only build a career, but help others build wealth as well. It's unfair to become a millionaire and billionaire and we're not teaching others how to do it, or we're not bringing others along. That's how we truly rise up as a nation and become a new nation and restore our culture and conquer what's rightfully ours. All right, guys. So again, shifting your mindset. We've talked about that in previous episodes before. It is extremely important to shift your mindset. And what's going to aid in that is acquiring the applicable knowledge you need to rise above. All right, guys. So that is today's episode. I just wanted to give you guys some quick information on steps that you can start taking to increasing your knowledge and acquiring the right knowledge that you need. And you will stumble into things that you don't like. Maybe you might find yourself at a stomping block where you can't get the information that you need. Maybe you need to take a pause, but it's also important to follow your instinct with things. It's also important to, if you want to test something out for yourself, test it out for yourself and make your own knowledge or add on to that knowledge to increase that specific subject or that specific skill or even maybe that industry to enhance. Okay, guys, it's in us. It's in our melanin. It's in our DNA. It is meant for us to be creators, servers, healers, and educators. We got this. All right, guys. So just to talk about news and announcements, guys, October is right around the corner. So Texas edition of NNG's formula to kick cramps ass, a blueprint to naturally get rid of menstrual cramps. We're coming to Austin October 8th. We're coming to Dallas, Fort Worth area October 15th. And we're rounding out in Houston, Texas on October 22nd. So you can go to our website at www.NNG, that's N as in new, N as in nation, G as in goddess, consulting.org. And go over and you can check out the events and register for free and be able to show up and get all the knowledge you need in order to conquer this thing called menstruation that women have to deal with for decades and decades and decades on end. All right, guys, we are still accepting listener mail. Thank you for those who have sent in information so far. If you want to keep it private, you can send us an email at info@nngconsulting.org. That information will be in the episode description as well. You can comment to this podcast directly as well. Don't hesitate to even participate in our tolls. We want to hear from you and see how we can better serve you and better assist you. Just to recap, guys, again, we talked about how to acquire knowledge in order to fulfill our purpose so that we too can acquire health and achieve optimal wellness. Be sure to like our podcast. We are on multiple platforms, so be sure to like us. Keep up with us for every Wealth and Wellness Wednesday. Also, be sure to subscribe to our website to keep up with the latest news, events, and resources that we have going on. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can keep up with that information as well. So as always, guys, my apologies. We want to send gratitude for those of you for tuning in. We really appreciate you for trusting Transcend with NNG as we continue to elevate and really seek true freedom. And we're going to continue to manifest a positive, productive, and peaceful day ahead. Thanks, guys. Peace.